unmatched dominance and leadership, stood tall as an 11-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, and one of the most extraordinary defenders in the game's history. Yet beyond the trophies and accolades, Russell valued something deeper: respect for those who pushed him to be even greater. Among them was Sam Jones, the man Russell called the silent assassin. Known for his calm precision and clutch performances, Jones built his legacy not through words but through action, delivering again and again when the game hung in the balance. One of his most unforgettable moments came in Game 7 of the 1962 NBA Finals against the Lakers, where his cold-blooded mid-range jumpers sealed another title for Boston. Russell often said that when Sam had the ball in his hands, there was no need to hope. Victory felt inevitable. Off the court, Jones embodied selflessness and discipline, caring little for fame and focusing entirely on team success. His quiet determination and consistency earned him 10 championships and the unwavering admiration of his teammates, especially Russell, who believed players like Sam Jones were the heartbeat behind Boston's dynasty. Elgin Baylor, the graceful rival who turned basketball into art, was more than just a scorer. He was a visionary who reshaped how the game was played. With his smooth footwork, effortless hang time, and creativity on the floor, Baylor brought an elegance that left even the toughest defenders, including Bill Russell, in awe. Russell admired how Baylor blended beauty with intensity, using finesse where others used brute force. He didn't just play, Russell once said. He painted masterpieces on the court. Their matchups were fierce but always respectful, defined by mutual admiration rather than hostility. One unforgettable duel came during the 1962 NBA Finals, when Baylor erupted for 61 points, a performance so extraordinary that even Russell admitted it was nearly impossible to stop. Still, that's what Russell loved most about facing him. Baylor's brilliance pushed him to elevate his own game. Their rivalry wasn't about hatred. It was about two legends bringing out the best in each other, turning every battle into basketball poetry. In the decisive Game 7 of the 1962 Finals, Bill Russell's leadership and defensive brilliance once again became the difference-maker. With Elgin Baylor threatening to take over, Russell anchored Boston's defense, limiting Baylor just enough to secure another championship. It was a duel that perfectly captured the respect between two icons, both giving everything they had, pushing each other and the game itself to greater heights. Then came Bob Pettit, the relentless, because Pettit never took a play off. Every possession was a battle. Facing Pettit meant there was no room for complacency, no moment to relax. Their rivalry reached its peak in the 1958 NBA Finals, one of the rare occasions when Russell's Celtics were defeated, a loss that only deepened his admiration for Pettit's relentless will and competitive fire. In the 1958 NBA Finals, Bob Pettit of the St. Louis Hawks delivered a performance for the ages, one that left even Bill Russell in awe. With the championship hanging in the balance, Pettit erupted for 50 points in Game 6, carrying the Hawks to victory and denying Boston the crown. But it wasn't just about the stats. It was about the sheer determination behind them. Russell later reflected that Pettit seemed to be everywhere that night, unstoppable no matter how tightly he was guarded. Pettit's relentless drive and will to win earned Russell's deepest respect, pushing him to reach new levels of intensity and grace, even in defeat. Though Russell and the Celtics would go on to dominate the league for years, Pettit's heroics in 1958 stood as a reminder that greatness wasn't monopolized by one team. Their clashes weren't just games. They were battles that defined an era, built on mutual respect, grit, and the pure essence of competition. Casey Jones, the loyal partner and ultimate teammate, was a steady force who stood beside Bill Russell through one of basketball's greatest dynasties. Their bond went far deeper than the Boston Celtics championship runs. It began years earlier at the University of San Francisco, where they led their team to back-to-back NCAA titles, a feat few have ever matched. Jones was never driven by fame or personal stats. His only goal was to win. That selfless mindset made him the perfect complement to Russell's own philosophy of teamwork, defense, and sacrifice. On the court, their chemistry was unmatched. Russell commanded the paint with his rebounding and shot blocking, while Jones suffocated opposing guards with relentless defense and sharp instincts. Together, They embodied what it meant to win as a unit. Russell often spoke with deep admiration for his longtime friend, saying, "Casey didn't care about scoring. He cared about winning, and that made him one of the best teammates I ever had." Their partnership wasn't just successful. It was the heart and soul of Boston's unstoppable legacy. What truly separated Casey Jones from others wasn't just his defensive mastery or his work ethic. It was his quiet, commanding leadership. He didn't need to shout to be heard. His presence spoke volumes. On the court, his connection with Bill Russell felt almost telepathic. They read plays before they happened, anticipated opponents' moves, and executed defensive rotations with flawless precision. Then came Wilt Chamberlain, the towering titan who stood as Russell's greatest rival. At 7 feet 1 inch, Chamberlain was a phenomenon, a blend of power, grace, and pure dominance that the game had never seen before. His numbers were otherworldly, averaging 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds per game during the 1961-62 season. But beyond the stats, his clashes with Russell became the stuff of legend. It wasn't just a battle of giants. It was a philosophical war. Russell's selfless, team-oriented brilliance versus Wilt's unmatched individual might. Every meeting between them was electric, a showcase of contrasting greatness that pushed both men to redefine what excellence in basketball truly meant. It was a clash of brute strength and pure intellect. Wilt Chamberlain's overpowering dominance against Bill Russell's strategic genius. In a decisive Game 7, Chamberlain once again showcased his unmatched ability, piling up 22 points and 21 rebounds to keep his team within reach. But when the moment of truth arrived, it was Russell's leadership and defensive brilliance that sealed the outcome. With 19 rebounds and a string of clutch plays down the stretch, Russell guided the Celtics to a thrilling 109-107 victory. Yet despite coming out on top, Russell never failed to praise Wilt's greatness. "I wouldn't be the player I became without him," he later admitted, crediting Chamberlain for forcing him to refine his defense, sharpen his instincts, and never relax for even a second. Their rivalry was fierce but rooted in deep respect, a rare balance of competition and admiration. Long after their final showdown, Russell looked back on Wilt not as an enemy, but as a worthy adversary who pushed him to greatness, saying, "He was a challenge I was always proud to face." Together, Russell and Chamberlain didn't just compete. They elevated basketball itself, transforming the NBA into the grand stage it would become. As Russell once said, "You always need the best to bring the best out of you." And for him, facing Wilt Chamberlain was that ultimate test. But there was another mind that challenged Russell in a different way. Oscar Robertson, the cerebral genius known as the Big O. Robertson revolutionized the guard position, becoming the first player ever to average a triple-double in a season and redefining how intelligence and skill could coexist on the court. His precision was surgical, his rhythm effortless, and his impact undeniable. Russell, known for his own basketball intellect, admired Oscar deeply, often marveling at his ability to control games with calm mastery. "Oscar could read the game like no one else," Russell once said, praising his unmatched court vision and strategic brilliance. Whether threading impossible passes, sinking clutch shots, or dissecting defenses with quiet calculation, Robertson played basketball like it was chess, always 2 moves ahead. Russell respected him not only for his talent, but for the shared mindset they both lived by: relentless focus, unshakable discipline, and an unending desire to win even with Bill Russell's unmatched defensive instincts. Going up against Oscar Robertson was never simple. You could never predict his next move, and that unpredictability made him one of the toughest opponents Russell ever faced. Their mutual respect ran deep, rooted in pure competition and a shared love for the game. Each of these legends, Sam Jones, Elgin Baylor, Bob Pettit, Casey Jones, Wilt Chamberlain, and Oscar Robertson, played a vital role in shaping Russell's journey, pushing him to constantly evolve and redefine greatness. Russell's legacy wasn't just about the 11 championships or the records he set. It was about the respect he gave and aimed from the game's greatest minds and hearts. His story reminds us that true greatness isn't measured only by trophies, but by the impact and integrity one brings to the court. So, what do you think? Can today's defenders ever match Bill Russell's brilliance on the defensive end? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more legendary basketball stories.